Our final analysis for this post-lab has to do with the effect of the catalyst copper 2 sulfate and what it does to the reaction rate. Catalyst, as we all know, increases the rate of the reaction, but by how much? So here's our rate law, whether it's with copper sulfate or without copper sulfate. It's going to abide by this formula at 24.5 degrees, which is what we did this reaction in. So the concentration of S2O3 minus 2 divided by 2 times the time gives us the rate of the reaction. So this was the formula that was given to us from our laboratory handout. And if we go back to our data table, you'll realize that this reaction went at 25 degrees. 25 degrees. So plugging that in here, and so getting about 3.64 times 10 to the minus 5 m over seconds. So this is the rate in the presence of the catalyst. Again, this is just a ratio, an equation taken from our laboratory handout. So let's compare rate with copper sulfate. And if you remember the rate of the reaction in experiment 1, everything is the same in terms of the volumes and the conditions. The only difference is that we added a drop of copper sulfate. So the rate for experiment 1, let's go back, and we have everything in our little preliminary data table that we made at the very beginning of our data analysis. The rate for experiment 1 was 5.44 times 10 to the minus 6. So we're measuring how fast the catalyst performs this reaction. And the rate in the presence of our catalyst, well, we just calculated it using the formula given to us, 3.64 times 10 to the minus 5 molarity over second. And these units cancel each other out. So let's do this on our calculator and see our final amplification of this reaction. So 3.64 times 10 to the minus 7. Divide this number by 5.44 times 10 to the minus 6. Okay, remember this is rate 1. Everything is the same, but this rate was without the copper sulfate. This is the rate with the copper sulfate. It took 25 seconds for the onset of color. And we're getting an amplification of about 6.7 to about 7 times. So in our experiment, and then when you do the experiment in lab, it may be a little bit different. Some students have gotten 10 times, 20 times as faster. That's your data, and that's totally all right. But the process of figuring out what a catalyst does, and our data in my hands, the catalyst increased the rate of the reaction by almost 6 to 7 fold.